Hello everyone, today we're going to talk about smart objects for Project 2. Smart objects are layers that contain image data from pixel-based images or vector images, which we'll get into in Module 3. Smart objects preserve an image's source content with all of its original characteristics, enabling you to perform non-destructive editing to this layer. Simply put, smart objects are files within your file. With smart objects, you can do multiple different things. You can perform non-destructive transformations, so you can scale, rotate, skew, distort, perspective transform, or warp a layer without losing original image data or quality because of the transforms don't affect the original data. You can also perform non-destructive filtering, so you can edit the filters applied to smart objects at any time. You can edit one smart object and automatically update all of its linked instances, which I will show you shortly. You can apply a layer mask that's either linked or unlinked to the smart object layer, which I will demo as well. And you can also try out various designs with low resolution placeholder images that you can later come in and replace with final versions. Keep in mind you can't perform operations that alter pixel data, which is destructive, such as painting, dodging, burning, or cloning directly onto a smart object layer unless it is first converted into a regular layer. So going ahead and starting to create a smart object, I'm actually going to work with the flower. You will select the layer that you want to use, go up to Layer, Smart Objects, Convert to Smart Object. Now if I go to this layer thumbnail and I double click, it'll open a flower.psb, which stands for Photoshop Big file, which is just like essentially creating a Photoshop file for that image embedded into your Photoshop file. So here I can actually come in and start working with adjustment layers if I want to increase some of the saturation, if I want to kind of brighten up the image a little bit, if I wanted to convert it to black and white, I could. So I can do all my adjustments here. I can create a new layer and I can kind of come in with my spot healing brush and do some stuff to the image. And if I go File, Save, or the shortcut Command or Control S, and come back to my original, it has taken on those edits. As you can see, that little part here that I spot healed out is now gone. So kind of going between these two files, now I can take this smart object. I'm going to create a mask of this smart object using my quick selection tool. I'm adding a mask to the smart object. I'm going to scale and kind of add some flowers to the tree. I'm going to click on that layer, duplicate layer, and add multiple flowers throughout the tree. You can also hold Option or Alt and drag upwards to also have another duplicate. Kind of scale this one down a little bit smaller. So now I've got 3 flowers in my tree. If I go back to that original, I'm going to close this out. I can double click on any of these smart objects of the flower copy, and you'll see all of these layers are still there. So for example, if I wanted to change the color of this flower, so if I wanted to come in and solid color, change it to blue. I can invert, give it a blend mode. Let's do overlay for this one. And I can come in and paint in this mask that you guys are familiar with doing. Might need to try out a different blend mode. For this one, but it's good to start off and kind of have an idea. We can come down to color. Make sure that I get all of this, all of the edges. So now I have a blue flower. As you can see, it's not blue here, but once I save my smart object and come back, they are all changed to blue with those edits. So this goes back to once you edit one smart object and you save it, it automatically updates all of its link instances. So now I have all different blue flowers. Smart objects are great, so you wouldn't have all of these layers, adjustment layers, also linked into your main Photoshop file, which is great as well. Smart objects are great when you're creating composite images, so you can take away and focus on just that one image if you're needing to add adjustment layers without worrying about maybe adding another mask to that adjustment layer. It lets you just focus on that one individual image without applying adjustment layers to the overall image. So that is my quick, brief, short video on smart objects for Project 2.